welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings YouTube Atheist Comedians that can't... Oh, no. Tiny chat. Almost partially did it, sort of, kind of, a maybe. Anyway, I did that other room that flyer a link to, some kind of something or other. Anyway, and Logic Rolls of Dice was in there, and I was just going to listen, do other things, and blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, he was speaking very coherently. He was really quite good, quite concise and cogent, I guess would be the word. And so he lamented my absence, so I thought I would, engage in some conversation. So anyway, I probably should have recorded it, should have thought of it, and I didn't, because again, it's the second time we've had, I think, really, a lot of stuff in the conversation. Like, we just kind of went over the vocabulary and just kind of nailed it all kind of down and just kind of did a good job of saying it, in a little bit of time, not a huge amount of time, just an hour or so. But anyway, and so it's just too bad that if somebody has a recording, I appreciate it, and such, but something was useful and good. It's actually, so anyway, I did do that, and then I ended up talking to somebody in real life and in real virtual life. Well, anyway, I just didn't, and so I ended up kind of getting dragged into it, whether I liked it or not, in terms of engaging with people. But I feel much better, so that was the key. I early in the day resolved a, problem, and so I just felt so much better. And it just kind of, even that was instructive, just in the sense that I had this, this little, I'm kind of old to have emotions that I haven't learned how to deal with, and so it's just kind of funny when they show up, and you're just, you're just kind of, whoa, I don't quite know what to do with this, or how to deal with this, and it's just kind of interesting to have that happen. Yeah, but you sort of think you've done it all, and you really haven't, in terms of the nuances of it. I'm not saying it's substantially enlightening. I just mean it's surprising in that, you kind of thought you were equipped to deal with something, and you realized when you went to use the screwdriver that it just spins around or something, and you can't, you can't get the screws out with that thing. So, yeah, it's just interesting to find a defect in your plan. So anyway, enough of that. Yeah, so it was very good. So, what else is there to say? Just the same old, same old. The Vlogger Dome episode is going to be another bit of a clunker, but the idea of it's still rolling. I mean, the idea of these premise arguments being made and then, building on it each episode, or each redundancy, or each migration through the subjects, it'll hopefully get more and more concise and more refined, and there'll be more writing connected to the subjects, and so I think it'll still be a good platform for building the arguments of these fundamental social issues and these fundamental philosophical issues. So I still see great value in having a place to distill it all down into something. It just hasn't quite done its big picture goal of creating some kind of infotainment, some sort of enter knowledge, some kind of pill that the average human can swallow, in terms of becoming, as Anticontivad's video was about it, becoming, which is sort of a canard, I think. I mean, it wasn't very, I don't know what it was exactly. Just this kind of dealing with, and his way of dealing with reality is, I guess, to, he wants to do the Puro room thing. Well, maybe I'll get to that. So he wants instructions on how to do the Google Plus thing, and what you really should just do is open your own room, because then you'll have to load the software and do all that stuff. So if you just make your own room, no one's going to know about it, and you can just screw around and get the software loaded, the plug-in stuff, and then you'll sort of get how it works. But I mean, there'll be a little thing. I just keep watching the top of your browser. There'll be a little drop down, and you have to allow all. You have to do some allowing thing. You have to say allow, and then you have to go to another button and allow both of the things you want to allow. And it's a little bit non-intuitive. But that's if you find the right link, and that's if Pyro remembers there's daylight savings time. And if so, it is 4 o'clock Eastern. Pyro usually says. Um, but like I said, we had the daylight savings time thing, so uh, I don't know. I guess it's still 4 o'clock Eastern time. It's just 4 o'clock will be 5 o'clock. Your time, something like that, I think. Um, yeah. Well, I don't know what time it'll be at your time, but I just mean it'll be an hour difference than what it would have been if it was regular 4 o'clock. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Um, so what else do I have to say? Yeah, so I guess I'll just get to. I'll play some of this because this is a conversation. This is he likes Piro. Yeah, he wants to talk to Piro, and that's just funny to me because this ought to be. I'll do like a video where I'll watch it and react to it as I watch it maybe or something. I don't know. These ought to be a little bit hilarious. Um, because it's just this idea of like how much of reality can they deny? That's really all this is about. Is they just want like how much of the known truth of scientism, right? Because they both like that. They'll both play with that kind of rhetoric. Um, Piro not so much, but he goes along with it in the sense that he opens this door to scientism that really isn't science. All kinds of entanglement and this and all the too quick conclusions made by physicists and others. He'll tend to go with wherever the truther or wherever the truthers are walking. He'll tend to walk with them, and that's the same as what you might call the tree huggers of the past, or the spiritualists, or the hippies. He'll just go with the counterculture silly flow. So wherever the silly flow is going, he'll tend to follow. But anyway, so for this guy though, it's more of a serious, conscientious effort to, slander the idea of discovery, the idea that we can experiment on reality and demonstrate its veracity, that it does have a real elements to it. But this isn't the Matrix, and this is these are all just canards. These are all escapist techniques and tricks that they want to play to evade the truths they don't like. That's really all this comes down to. They want to blend the happily ever after fables and fairy tales, and they want to try to migrate those into reality, so they can keep this theme of purpose. Because you really need the happily ever after, right? Without the happily ever after, all the stories don't mean anything. Because if you said, oh, they went through this horrible struggle, did this whole thing, defeated the witch, and then, like Snow White gets ovarian cancer 4 weeks later, that just would be a shitty story, right? That would just suck, all kinds of hairy, nasty balls. So, reality just doesn't work for this this idea of justification, redemption, and so and again say that and these people are just so they want an excuse to say it's not my fault. They want an excuse to say I didn't start the fire. Piro especially, these kind. Nature is what it is. It's not my fault. I'm doing the best I can by evading the truth and propagandizing for absolute mush, which is just kind of a lie, right? You're not really making any real effort, and you're just suggesting that, well, if we didn't spend zillions of dollars on the military, we could have, water that could sing and dance. Yeah, we could have all kinds of things, but that's not a realistic expectation. That, oh yes, we would go through this whole maturation process without having war, because guess what? That's sort of what you have to do. That's how evolution works. The competing forms will have to, in many cases, there has to be a winner and a loser, because they can't live together, because they fundamentally have values that are hostile to each other's survival. So it has to sort of be a contest, fight to the death. And we're sort of in that process culturally. I mean, it's been going on for thousands of years, and no one really acknowledges it, but that's what's been going on for thousands of years, is cultures have been exterminated. And we are pretending that we have a law against it now. Okay, that oh no, we're totally against that. We don't want anybody annihilated or holocausts. But the truth is that denying the fact that that's what the process intends by its function to do will not provide you escape. Just pretending that you don't want that to be the truth is not going to prevent it from being the truth. And to make it not the truth, you actually have to do something. You can't keep saying, well, the next generation will take care of that. The next generation will pay the bills. The next you can't just keep passing the fucking buck. And that's, I guess, what the biggest theme of these guys is, passing the buck. I didn't start the fire. I'll roast some marshmallows and sing Kumbaya and say, haha, whoa, aren't we cool? Fuck some chicks and say I did my job. I was a conscientious human. Bullshit. I mean, I'll ride the tiger of, I sang some folk songs. That's this guy. He keeps talking like he's the brave, courageous warrior in defense of reality, and he's exactly the opposite. I mean, he's riding the screaming chicken, the giant yellow big bird, to fantasy land, to evasion of reality. There's scientism! Oh! Like Kenny Penny, scientism is coming! And that's riding the tiger. So, sorry, bullshit. So let's play some of this bullshit. And, see, I'm back, right? That was pretty much vintage me.
What is the origin of this horror?
What is the origin of
the origin of...
See, now he says...
feeling of extreme
he says the word horror, and when he says the word horror, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a word. That's all. It actually means absolutely nothing to him. The word has no resonance in a fundamentally accurate kind of way. You know what I mean? I have to check, see if I can get the volume louder.
When you understand, or if you choose to think that, we are in a state of perpetual and unending flux. Us and everything else is.
Well, unending flux. See, this is again your argumentation. There's no evidence that it didn't have a beginning and it might have an end. So you can keep saying things like that. But aren't those that's just escaping responsibility? You're just going to pretend that, well, I can't put the fire out because the fire is inevitable and it's unending and it's blah 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 blah. And that's not how it is. It's a cause and effect system. So this presumption that you've written in stone that you cannot escape, okay? The universe is going to put sentient beings on torture gurneys and drive nails in their eyes, and it will do it no matter what you do, forever and ever. So says me. And then you'll talk about scientism. When you're doing what? Fear-mongering, truther nonsensiism. No rational theory defending this inevitable crap. You just made it up, and you're using it to say, I have no responsibilities here. Yeah, because the universe is going to keep nailing eyes no matter what happens. Whether I give birth to the eye that the nail goes in or to or not. If I don't give birth to it, somehow the universe will still make somebody else do it. And it's just not a fact.
Is that so horrifying? What is it that makes it so horrifying?
Yeah, so again, is it so horrifying that, millions of people could be subjected tomorrow to catastrophic flooding or some other kind of thing and, have their homes washed away and die of cholera and, all kinds of horrible shit. And is that also horrible? There's a video, a little Chinese kid getting run over a few hundred times. Is that also horrible to see a little kid squirming on the road and watch his little body get smashed and crushed by tires? Is that really so horrible? I mean, come on, it's not so bad, right? Are slaughterhouses really all that bad? I mean, so what? The animal's not entirely dead, and you just put a knife through it and have its guts fall out. Oh, so what? What is that really so horrible? Come on. So what? A crocodile is chomping on on a baby gazelle, and the gazelle is still breathing, but its legs are all broken. And is that really so horrible? There's lions eating a baby elephant right now, and the elephant's, is that really so horrible? No.
Um, Again, one is forced to conclude, or at least I seem to be forced to conclude, that it's simply that we are hooked on these anchors. Hooked on these anchors. What an interesting turn of phrase. I didn't even mean to do that. But it does look.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means either. Frankly, you're snagged. You could say you're snagged on anchors. But there's nothing to catch anyway. You're fishing in a cesspool. You're only going to catch turd.
That way.
Turdiitis.
Only the more sort of cerebral, or I would call them bold, self-reflecting philosophies seem to even posit the idea that it's possible to come to terms with becoming.
Whatever. So anyway, back to this Easter stuff. Yeah, come to terms with it by ignoring it. So again, that's all that's coming to terms with something, is to pretend it doesn't exist. Say it's not my problem. My obligation is just to be, beetle number 748. Okay, I'm just a beetle. It's not my fault. Not my job. Yeah, and that's coming to terms with. So again, that's sort of the biggest canard, is they use their intelligence to just evade responsibility. Oh, where do we see that all over the place? Yeah, the President of the United States, maybe?
And flux. And not go mad.
I don't know if there's any obligation to go mad by the truth. All really obligates you to do is modify a few behaviors that you don't seem to want to let go of. So a few of your little ego notions have to go away, or maybe even say something like, well, you know what, that silly sports stuff we're doing is really dumb. Maybe we should pay, and celebrity stuff, well, that's kind of dumb. Maybe we should pay people to do constructive things in the world rather than pointless things. Yeah, maybe that would be a good idea. Maybe we should have productivity awards rather than Olympic gold medals. Maybe that would be smart.
I seem to be more comfortable with it than most people I speak to. Although ultimately, I think that if I were to actually face that monster with its maw open, with all these things coming at me, I think it would.
Well, don't worry. The monster's going to get here eventually, and it's going to eat your nuts off, or eat some part of you. It's going to eat you down to 85 pounds. And then maybe you'll be bold enough to give us a report, as you're getting swallowed by the crocodile, and you can all tell us how it was all worth it. And it's just such a grand adventure. Yeah, just so cool. And then, and then after the crocodile shits, we can put a little memorial flag in the poo. Anticontavad was here.
Probably at least cause some sort of overload or breakdown or whatever. Again,
my only overload, my only breakdown has to do with the fact that there's just this idea that these assholes are driving the bus. And that's all that has me bugged. It's nothing. Yeah, I don't really like the view out the window. Okay, I don't like the disgusting poo in the walkway. I don't like the smell of the bus, and I don't like the sounds of the bus, and the whole thing is giving me a horrid headache. Okay, but yeah, the thing that's really bad, okay, the really, really bad thing is that, the demon is driving, and it's going to drive us right into, let's do it again. And again, and again, and again.
Hooked on gravity and on Main Street and on 9 to 5 and on up and down is any more
Well, like I
effective.
said, up and down and Main Street aren't the same thing. Cultural memes are not the same as physical laws of the universe. So, but this is another tactic, is to try to blend silly religion into, science, to just blend everything into the same, slander it with the, take the truth and get the dirt of fantasy smeared on it, so then you can call it one of these other silly notions. But it's all just part of the tactic. Oh, anyway, this is enough of a video for a what the fuck. Um, so, yeah, it's probably enough. I don't know if I have anything else I need to report on. Yeah, just, back in the game a little. Do my job again. Yeah. And such. Yeah. So, keep plugging away. So, and like I said, next time, yeah, like I said, I don't think it really matters. I mean, these rooms are all a little bit weird. It's a lot of time, and you only get a half hour here and 15 minutes there that are really good. But maybe I should really work on that and make it into a better, more consistent thing. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So till next time. I'm thinking there's something else, but I can just make another video if there is, right?